All right. Welcome back, everyone, to the Xbox Roundtable Podcast, the place on Sunday nights to discuss Xbox talk and many other gaming related topics from across the board. Naturally, I'm your host, Invader, and this is show number 274. Yes, quite the large number there. It's great to have you all here as we have plenty of things to discuss. Diablo 4 has finally been released, and the panel will give you their impressions of this big title. I know Crusader is amply waiting, dying to talk about this, and I know many people have been enjoying it. So can't wait to dive into that as well. With the Xbox showcase just a week away, we will give you our thoughts on what could possibly be at the show, our best guesses, takes, and so on. Fable seems to be teased, but hey, maybe we could see Avowed, Contraband. Who knows? Could be anything, right? But yeah, guys, before we dive into all that's fun stuff, obviously you see us using StreamYard again. Yeah, I'm just having some PC issues on my end, so I went to a less, intrusive thing. Start off here. Maybe for the next couple of weeks we'll be doing this. But hey, I like putting on the show, so I'll use whatever means necessary, right? And StreamYard is pretty good for that. But yeah, we're still waiting for a few people, a few team members to drop in here. But on that note, we'll start introducing everybody. Starting off with the Centurion. Buddy, pal, how you been?
Man, I've been doing pretty good, just gaming here and there. So I guess I will just come out. Me and Crusader were talking about it. Karma did bite me in the ass, as everybody knows. I did decide to give Gollum the good old college try, and I don't want to list. So I will not recommend anybody to buy that game right now, and it has nothing to do with graphics, gameplay, or story. That game has a bug in it that caused my game to crash towards the end game, and now I can't load anything. I can't load the chapter I was on, the beginning chapter. The game crashes anytime you try to load up the game outside of the title screen. So definitely, I'm going to put it out there. Don't buy Gollum right now, even if it does interest you. There's definitely some issues in the back end on that game. Yeah, I know. I love that Thimber. I know when the developers over at Redfall saw Gollum, they definitely said, "Yeah, we safe." We definitely That's funny. Oh man. But other than that, for those actually I always like to kind of like share. I know how everybody feels about GameStop, but right now at GameStop, if you're a pro member, no, I'm not even paid by them, but they actually got some decent sales. Normally when you go to Pro Day has absolutely nothing, but there actually is some sales where you get like buy one, get one free games. And I actually got Forspoken today. So I am going to fire up Forspoken to see exactly how bad it is. I'm looking forward to that. But other than that, I've been playing Jedi Survivor, a little bit of Forza, some Elder Scrolls, business as usual, at least on my Xbox.
Hmm. Interesting. Yeah, well, Gollum, no comment there. I've seen all there has to be with Gollum. Forspoken, that's interesting. I mean, personally, I didn't think it was a terrible game. It just, when you got some very memeable stuff that just gets, put out on the internet, that'll sink your game, unfortunately. And
Right.
there are some kind of cringy
I,
moments there with Forspoken, unfortunately, and voice acting. Like there's different things there, but the mechanics. I heard like the gameplay is not too bad, but so
I
be
guess
it.
it. I guess if you can like to prove the point, like for me buying Gollum, I have no problem buying games that review badly. Because I always like to, try to take my own. Like if something interests me, I just want to find out. And if I end up finding out like my intuition was completely wrong and the game really did suck, hey, lesson learned on me, but at least I figured that out for myself. But like,
Mm,
I mean, we were talking, me and Crusader were talking about, there's like games that were actually pretty decent that reviewed very, very badly. Like, look at Homefront.
yes.
And even one good in game that you did a review on, Invader, Terminator Resistance. That game actually reviewed pretty horribly.
Yeah. Well, no, and I, hey, I remember that. No, the game it's it's just not a full AAA game, but there are things in there that like it's a polished game. It's just not like graphically, it's not like the best game, but like and it cuts in some areas. But
Graphically, it wasn't a game that you were like, oh my god, this is so current gen, because it was obviously an Xbox One
but
title.
but everything worked. That was the thing, and
Right.
everything worked well. And I could tell that the devs put in a lot of work in where they were into the game. So
That's what I was kind of hoping for with Gollum. I was at least hoping that the story was going to be pretty well done, and there was some connections to the Lord of the Rings and the Hobbit movies. I actually could tell that the developers, at least involved in the writing of the game, tried their best to make connections to the movies, which I really enjoyed. But it was definitely whoever was in charge of developing the game as on like a systems level. That's where at least I could say like somebody got it wrong.
hmm yeah, and I'm just tired of these excuses. It's like they knew that it was like in rough shape and they put it out. Like there's no excuses there.
It
Um,
looks nothing like it's
yeah.
pre-release footage. Nothing.
No, it looks no. It's there's no excuses there.
Right.
Like
But
shame on them.
that's why I'm just saying, like, at least like this is where I go towards Redfall or any game. Like, if you're going to release a game, I'm not going to sit here and knock you for I won't knock a game at all unless you release a broken ass game. And that's where, yeah, Gollum, the more you play it, the worse it gets. Like when you, at the first beginning chapters, you don't see stuff, but as you progress into the game, you start getting lagging and optimization issues. And finally in chapter 10, the game just full on crashed on me.
Yeah, I had read somewhere that like the game had crashed on PlayStation 5 like 120 times or something for
Yeah,
a
I think
reviewer.
Crusader pointed that out to me, that one of the reviewers of Gollum had a crash occur 120 times during the review process.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
terrible. Speaking of Crusader, buddy, pal,
Hello.
how are you doing, my dungeon sleuthing friend?
I'm good. I have a little bit of a headache, so I've taken my migraine meds. So I might be talking a little bit slower than I normally do. I have been juggling Destiny 2 and Diablo 4 all week. Um, Destiny 2 has the craft weapons in Last Wish, so I was going and getting all those craftable. I actually do have them all craftable now. And Diablo 4, I was one of the lucky people who was able to get the $30 trick to work. Basically, if you had the standard edition pre-ordered, it would select some people for a $30 upgrade to the Ultimate Edition, except the Ultimate Edition isn't actually an upgrade. It includes the base game. So you could cancel your standard edition and get the Ultimate Edition for $30. Don't know what Microsoft was doing there. Definitely a store bug. I didn't. Some people even got full refunded for the whole thing, and they had to pre-order. I didn't, so I've been enjoying the Ultimate Edition, and the game is incredible, absolutely incredible. I'm in Act 4 right now. There's some minor gripes I have, but we'll talk about that later.
All right, all right. I look forward to hearing all your thoughts on Diablo. That'll happen in a couple of minutes. Next up, Eric Shockley. I know you're patiently waiting, and it's great to see you, my friend. How's things on your end?
Pretty good. I unfortunately was not lucky enough. I Full it showed me I pre-ordered the game a week before. Shouldn't have done that. Otherwise, the trick most likely would have worked for me. I had to refund my deluxe edition first, which went right through instantaneously. But then when I did the rebuy of the standard to get the offer to pop, which it did, then when you submitted the refund for that, basically a refund on top of a refund that quickly, the second one's like immediately like pending review. It doesn't go through right away like it was it for everybody else. So when they talked to me, they were like, "Hey, yeah, we'll let you keep it because you showed us proof that other people were able to keep theirs." And then after I got off the phone with them, they sent me an email saying, "Hey, when we refunded the standard, it refunded the other one." I'm like, it doesn't make any sense because you're letting some people go through with it, and then you're telling me no, it was an upgrade. So I'm like, but you didn't sell me an upgrade SKU.
Yeah,
Nowhere does it say upgrade. That's
from what
not
I
how that
can tell,
works.
it was they timestamped it, and after a certain timestamp, they started just full refunding.
Yeah, but that's the other thing. It's like, why would you even offer that? Because you literally, the game already sells you that. Like literally, if you bought the digital deluxe, which is like $10 cheaper than the ultimate, when you go into the game, you can literally buy whatever their currency is, a $10 difference, and do the same thing. So why would you? It doesn't make any sense that they even did that. So that's why their whole, I don't know. I was just annoyed because they said once they said like, hey, no, you're good. We fully refunded the standard, which I saw they did. And then like after the fact, I thought I got it for the deal. And then so I was more pissed about like, the switcheroo on that one, but thinking I got it when I didn't. But oh well. I just told them to refund all of it and got the digital one. So I didn't just spend the extra 10 on it, but yeah, I'm having a ton of fun. But yeah, we'll get into it. But yeah, that's what I've just been playing mostly all through the weekend. So, and it's been relatively smooth so far. So, but yep, that's where I spent all my weekend. So.
Oh, I can't wait for your thoughts on it, Shockley. We will get to you very, very soon. Oh, and who do we got here? Sliding right in towards the end. General MLD. Great to see you, my friend. How's things?
Hey, yeah, doing pretty good. Yeah, just the kids, they won't go to sleep. The joys of being a parent. But yeah, doing pretty good here. Looking forward to tonight's chat. Yeah.
Indeed. Looking forward to it all. Ooh, yeah, 9 lives in the chat. Aaron Greenberg getting up the Xbox showcase. Yes, he was dropping stuff the past hour. Some nice little tidbits.
Oh, yeah, we got to talk about that.
Some hints about. Yeah, we will. We will certainly talk about that. But speaking of the showcase, I have a little bit of an announcement to make for next week's show. Before we begin, I need to make all of you wonderful people listening in aware that all of us here at the TXR Podcast are feeling very, I want to say festive with all the game shows and conferences going on. Obviously, for next week's show, we got the Xbox Showcase. We'll be covering all of that. But for next week, we plan to give away an Xbox Series S live on air, guys. How does that sound? I know, right? We'll be sharing the details soon, but I highly suggest tuning in for next week. It's going to be a real treat, and we just really appreciate all you guys who tune in, and we want to give back something, right? And we're just very appreciative having all of you here, and yeah, it's going to be a great time overall. It's going to be cool, guys. It's going to be cool. And thank you, all of you guys, for just, stopping by each Sunday night. You guys make everything a little bit extra special. But yeah, we got lots to talk about. I don't want to waste any time here. So let's move right on into things. Talking about a newly released game that we're just kind of talking about. We will talk about this little title that you may have heard of called Diablo 4. The action RPG seems to be getting a lot of buzz. Consumer reviews are very positive from the get-go. I'm actually kind of surprised that they're as positive as they are, which is a really good sign. And I'm just seeing a lot of people post about it on my feed, which is really cool. Now, I haven't been playing this one personally, but I know a few people on the panel are knee-deep into it. Crusader, my dungeon crawling friend, please enlighten us by sharing your thoughts on impressions of the latest Diablo iteration. Please take over.
Sure. Let's give some background to my history in Diablo. I've never played the first two. I do own the remake of the second one, but I've never played 1 or 2. I have put probably close to 2,000, 3,000 hours in Diablo 3. I used to play the seasonal leaderboard ladders and the greater rifts pretty competitively. The last season, I was in the top 10 for the first week in North America on the Crusader class, which is totally coincidental. I like playing the Paladin Crusader classes in games like this usually. It is just totally coincidental with my name. Literally zero connection. But so I do really, really, really like Diablo. And from what I can tell from the people that I know that love Diablo 2 more than 3, is that this is like a harmonious blending of a lot of the features from Diablo 2 and Diablo 3. And I can kind of agree with that. It is very, very, very fun. And each of the classes kind of have these like really cool, like unique mechanics to them that you get at level 15. So like I'm playing Sorcerer, and the Sorcerer class at level 15 can turn some of its active skills like Fireball or Ice Shards into passive abilities that just kind of do things. So, like, whenever I kill an enemy, they actually erupt in a Fireball explosion because I have the Fireball slotted into the passive. That's really cool. But like the Druid that my one of my best friends is playing, he gets this like spirit juice that drops on the ground, and he can go spend it at this one location in the game, and that gives him druid upgrades. And it's like a totally different system for that class, and it's really cool how the different classes all have like these different like weird functionalities. So far I'm in Act 4. I don't want to spoil the story. I don't know how far Shockley is, and I don't want to spoil the story for anyone who's listening or is on the panel planning to play. But I liked Diablo 3's story, and I know that it was probably the weakest of the stories in the series. I have watched a complete story playthrough of 1 and 2. So like I do understand like the story, and I understand where people are coming from. I still liked Diablo 3 story. Diablo 4 story is just way better, just in general. It is really good. The cutscenes are excellent. They are the Blizzard level cutscenes that you expect from any Blizzard game that has ever existed. Like World of Warcraft, you might not like World of Warcraft, but World of Warcraft's cutscenes look awesome. Diablo's cutscenes have always looked awesome. StarCraft's cutscenes always looked awesome. There is an 8-minute cutscene. I know it's later in Act 4. I've seen the cutscene. It's actually part of the Game Awards. The Game Awards showed like the first like half of the cutscene. Then there's like a second half to it in the game. Incredible, incredible, incredible stuff. There's some negatives are the joining your friends is not nearly as just easy as it was in the first game, or in Diablo 3. That's a bit of a step back. Inventory management can be an issue because all items are the same size in Diablo in Diablo 4. So like if anyone's played Diablo 3, they'll know that like jewelry and gems used to only take up 1 slot, and armor took up 2 slots. And everything basically takes up quote 2 slots. It's 1 slot now, but everything takes up the same, which makes gems and jewelry kind of overbearing in your inventory. People have been asking for them to add a gem pouch because there are separate pouches for specific inventory types of items. And I do agree, a gem pouch would be very, very, very handy to get. The dungeon system's awesome. Love that. I do really hope that eventually they add something like Nephilim Rifts and Greater Rifts, because while they weren't the greatest form of endgame in the world, they are a great singular form of endgame that I think would exist really well in this game. But I am absolutely loving Diablo 4. Is it worth $70? Yes, I would say it is, though I'm conflicted with saying it is because of the monetization schemes with the amount of MTX they're going to have. It's all cosmetic, but just like the amount of that plus the battle pass structure that they're going to have. So it's hard to, content wise, it's easily worth $70. It's a fucking great game, but the monetization would lead me to tell people to maybe wait for a sale, unless they really want. If you are a Diablo fan or an ARPG fan, like you like Grim Dawn or Last Epic or any of the ARPG style games, like even if you enjoy Baby's first ARPG, which is Minecraft Dungeons, this is a great game, and it does hold your hand a bit. It does tell you what to do, but then later it's the build crafting can get real crazy. So that's where like you might want to look up guides and stuff. But if you were to say, I really wanted to play this, yeah, $70 would be worth it. If you were on the fence and you wanted to wait for a sale, I would say, yeah, that's totally understandable. If you were hoping for the Microsoft deal to go through and you want to get it on Game Pass, then that's also a fair answer.
All right. Now I can't remember if you mentioned this before. Like, I don't know the story of Diablo by any means.
Sure.
Like, is this one like really connected to like the
It is
last
set
one?
60 years after Diablo 3. You do not need to know any of the story from Diablo 1, 2, and 3 to understand what is happening in the story of Diablo 4. There are some things that maybe make a little bit more sense. Like in the lore, we know who Inarius and Lilith are from previous games. They were a demon and an angel who rebelled against the war that was going on, and they stole a thing called the World Stone and created Sanctuary. Sanctuary being the world of mortals, and they ended up having children together, which were the Nephilim, the first basically humans, but they were like turbo powered. And then some shenanigan happens, and the events of the other games happen. Lilith and Inarius are core to this story, but they explain all of that in game.
Okay. All right, that's interesting. Yeah, I'm like one of the few people who hasn't played Diablo. I remember when Diablo 2 came out, and like everybody and their mother was talking about Diablo at the time, and I was like, oh, all right, damn. But I don't know, for whatever reason, I just never, you can't play every game, right? Diablo is just one of those ones that I just never ended up playing. I can still play it, obviously, but again, I talk about this a lot. My backlog is pretty backlogged at the moment, so yeah, I definitely want to go through that, and there's some other titles. So, but like again, if you're playing it, you're enjoying it, like that's awesome. It seems to be getting some really good reviews.
It is a very, very, very long game. Just the main story. Let me see how long I've been playing, and I'm at the beginning of Act 4. I have put 20 hours into the game. Now, I've played a couple sequences multiple times with friends and stuff, so I'm probably 15 hours would be a safe number to say as to like how much I've actually just been playing the main story, and I'm only in Act 4, and I'm only level 41 out of 100. So like, this is not a game that is like kind of like a brisk jaunt, if that makes sense. This is closer to a Destiny style game.
Yeah.
All right. No, that's good to hear. I mean, you have to put some investment into it. When I've seen the gameplay of it, though, I mean, everything just looks so smooth, and I don't know if epic is the word I'm supposed to use, but again, when I see like these larger enemy battles and I see like all this stuff going on, it is really impressive to me, and the detail of the environment. So I do really appreciate the world building that goes on there, and the character detail and the landscapes. I mean, it's very impressive to me.
In my head, for the last 11 years since Diablo 3. When did Diablo 3 come out? It's been out for 8,
2013?
13. Yeah, it's been out for forever, right?
That's 2012 probably.
2012. It's been out for forever.
At least.
I never thought that Diablo 3 looked like a bad game at any point in my life, even just recently playing it, right? A little aged, but I always thought it stood out visually. Diablo 4 made my jaw kind of dropped, and I was just like, so this looks significantly better. The set pieces are incredible, the visuals are incredible, the effects are incredible, and it's just it is all around an upgrade from Diablo 3. For the most part, some itemization stuff is iffy, but I think they'll address that pretty quickly, personally.
All right.
Hell, they've already had a balance patch out for the game, and it hasn't released to the public at large yet.
Oh, all right. Good to know. Now, Shockley, buddy, I know you've been playing the game. As you said, you've probably sunk your entire weekend into it. Please, share your thoughts with it. Do you agree with what Crusader's been saying? Please, what are your thoughts on Diablo 4 so far?
Yeah, so far, because I definitely didn't play any of the beta or anything like that, because once they announced like, hey, anytime you spin into this is not going to carry over, I'm just like, yeah, I'm not into wasting my hours anymore on stuff like that doesn't translate over to the final game for your progression. But yeah, it's been a blast so far. I definitely want to maybe give some of the other classes a try. I was a big demon hunter class from the last one. So when I saw that it wasn't technically there, I was kind of like disappointed. But I'm doing the rogue class, which is I feel like a mix between like an assassin and a demon hunter. So you basically it's as a or as the rogue class, you basically using a lot of range weapons, crossbows or arrows. But then you have these abilities that get you in real close to the enemy real fast. You'll either dash like through them, slicing them up, and then you can get out, set traps, back out. So you're like constantly going back from a range position, taking out crowds, swooping in, dicing them up or flying through them, setting traps where I have a now poison trap that I drop. So then it either slows people down or, basically poisons the whole pool, or you have like gas bombs that you can just daze them. So it's a pretty cool class. I'm having a lot more fun. I think before with the Demon Hunter class I used to run was it was kind of like it didn't have that many things to it. It was kind of just like arrows, set traps, and that's about it. So I think they are giving a lot of these character classes that that might be staples in the past Diablo games. I think they're giving them a lot more, just more to them, like more abilities, more different things that they can do. I haven't even gotten into the thing that Crusader was talking about. I think I'm level 19. I think I've seen where it did unlock what you were talking about, but I think I still have to do a certain. That's the only thing I haven't liked so far.
There's a quest.
Yeah, there's like a quest, and I don't even know. It's like there's like horses that you can ride too, I think.
Yeah, you
but
get,
it's like,
you get
hey,
the
you have to do a
horses
certain
in
quest.
Act 4.
Oh, okay.
You don't get them till Act 4.
Oh, okay. Is that the same thing?
I just got it like an hour ago.
For the level 15 thing that you were talking about?
The level 15 thing, I know that
because that says
I
the
was
same thing.
able
It says
to get
like
my
a quest.
sorcerer one in the initial Act 1 area. My friend who was playing Druid couldn't get his stuff until we were partway through Act 2.
Okay.
It really depends. And technically, when I say like partway through Act 2, technically I think you can get them at any point. It just means you have to travel through the open world because it is just a massive open world. You have to travel through to the area where the quest tells you to go, which I don't know where the rogue is.
Some of that stuff can be like confusing. So it's definitely not a game that you want to take a lot of breaks from because you're going to be lost and not understanding, kind of like you would be if you left the Skyrim. In between, you'd be like, okay, I have these side quests, and you'll probably be kind of lost of like what you were doing in between that. So, but so far it's definitely worth the $70. Like content wise, you're going to be playing this game for. And the cool thing is, it's not like, which I had huge criticisms about Destiny with, like at some point we're like, okay, Diablo's on console now. It's like, okay, Destiny with Destiny 2, come on, you like Diablo's done it perfectly for you. Like there's a perfectly like you were mentioning, like the whole Nephilim or whatever, that whole thing where it basically has all these different tiers of like difficulty.
Yeah, the randomized difficulty per level.
Yeah. And it just makes it almost makes it like an infinite replayability where you're getting even better gear. And instead of Destiny 2, they're like, no, remember how you like to play for some of those, because they didn't have very many weapons. And so when you played it, they actually took the randomize, or like the randomization of like getting perfect rolls on like a legendary gun. They took that out.
That was the worst part at the
you're going backwards. And that's one reason why a lot of people left once Destiny 2 came out, because we were like, we thought you were going to get it right. That's where I think Diablo gets a lot of that right, where when you pay that $70, you're going to have a ton of content to play. You're not going to get bored of like, hey, I've seen this. You might see a same weapon, but it's going to be like completely different rolls on it, and you'll get excited when you hit that perfect one that's like, just in line for like what your build is. I'm not too far. Did they say they were doing an auction house this time around?
No, they are not.
Okay. I think
The
they got
auction
rid of
house
that
got
anyways.
ripped out of Diablo 3.
Because I was in there in those days where you basically had to go to the auction house.
Yeah.
Basically, you'd find rare stuff and then you'd post it on the auction house to sell it to other gamers. So, but that was the fastest way to find an upgrade because you'd get gold, but you wouldn't find the stuff you want. But you would get enough gold to go buy it on the auction house. So, but yeah, it's a good thing that they got that.
One other
ripped
thing, you
out
were
and then-
talking about how you were thinking about rolling up another character, right?
Just to see
Eventually.
what, because I understand what
Yeah.
some of the characters are, but like some of the other ones, like maybe like Druid, or I think there's
Yeah.
maybe one other one. I don't know exactly what to expect.
So
But
one of the really cool things that they did in Diablo 4 that basically any games as a service game that has multiple classes, this is talking Destiny or anything in the future that has like multiple classes that you can play, look at Diablo 4 as your model because there is a ton of stuff that you just unlock account wide, right? That once you unlock it on your first character, it's unlocked on your other characters. And like whenever you complete a dungeon for the first time, you get like a legendary affix that you can put on an item. Like any item you want, you can put it on. And you can do the barbarian dungeon and unlock that affix even if you're playing on sorcerer like I am. And
you need to already have those characters created first?
you do not. It goes into like a
cool.
codex of things that you've unlocked, and then when you switch characters, the codex is completely unlocked for that character too.
Oh, okay, that's dope.
And there's also these like shrines to Lilith you can find that give you permanent upgrades for your character's stats. Those are also account wide, so any character you start will just have significantly higher stats to start.
Okay.
I believe the renown system is, and even the completing of the base campaign might even be, like cross character. I'm not sure about the campaign, but I'm pretty sure the renown system is too. So you get like straight up, if you have 900 renown in any of the regions, you get 2 free skill points. So you can get 10 free skill points just by getting 900 renown in each region. And so like there's like a lot of cool things that they're like, yeah, you know, we're not going to make you do these things multiple times if you want to do multiple characters. So rolling up more characters is actually faster. Past your first.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I think the skill tree seems like it's a lot deeper than
Yes.
whatever Diablo, because I was kind of caught off guard. I was like, this is remind me of like Final Fantasy X with like the whole sphere.
Yeah,
like thing.
Diablo 3's skill that was actually a complaint about Diablo 3 was how basic its skill system was. And that was a lot of the augments for the skills came only from gear in Diablo 3, whereas in Diablo 4 you get just about as much augmenting of your build from your skills and how you're mixing and matching them and picking and choosing things as you do from the legendaries you're wearing. Which is really
that was the part that sometimes you'd have a complaint about, because you'd see some people that got that random, you know, RNGesus in gear where it's like, oh, this has all this different like poison, and then it's a collection, so you get the extra bonuses, and it's like, man, that's a like super rare piece, which would make you get excited when you get like a certain exact set that you needed with that had like, you know, some of the perfect or, you know, near perfect rolls. But it was kind of frustrating because you're like, hey, I want to do this type of build, but I have to kind of like keep waiting and hoping or going to the auction house and trying to find one. And that was the fun thing with the auction houses, because like other people would buy stuff from out from under you, kind of like eBay style. So that was a fun and frustrating time on the PC. But yeah, it's going to be a huge get if they actually get the Activision deal. With, even if they close it sometime this year and this game
hits Game
I don't know
Pass.
if they'd be able to add it, but if they do, like that's going to be a huge get for Game Pass. They will get a boost of subscribers.
You know, Microsoft had the marketing for this game. Have you seen the Xbox store this week?
Yeah, it's been all over.
The whole you know, trending indies, whatever. It's just a picture of Lilith spread across 5 tiles.
Yeah, it's all over my Xbox. It's like saying play now.
This
everywhere.
Is probably. This might actually be the first games as a service game, because it is a games as a service game. They said they're going to be adding content over time to it for free. That's going to be supported by the cosmetic microtransactions over time. You know, like that, whatever. But this might be the first games as a service game that actually launches and is like good off the bat. You know what I mean? Destiny 1 was not good off the bat. It took time for them to fix the mistakes they made. Same thing with Destiny 2. Destiny 2 was not good in its first year. It was awful in its first year. I almost quit during Curse of Osiris. But like Forsaken and onwards, they kind of, okay, I'm liking what I'm playing again, and it's great. Diablo, I'm liking what I'm playing from the first minute. You know what I mean?
Well, that's the thing, right? Because people were wondering about Diablo, how's it going to turn out? Because people, I don't know, Blizzard the past little while hasn't exactly been producing.
They've been up and down.
Yeah, they've been very inconsistent. You look at Overwatch 2, for example, like very messy. Diablo, they weren't talking about it for a while, which is fine, but finally they were talking about it, and there was a lot of excitement. The beta went extremely well back in late March. And
yeah, and they did one more recently too.
Yeah, that's correct. That's correct. And yeah, right now it is flying high.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really the first games as a service game where I don't see cracks. And normally you can see if for those I play a lot of them, or I have at least hopped into, tried a lot of them and bounced off. This is the first one since Destiny 2 that I've been like, okay, I can see myself playing this or Destiny 1 that I can see myself playing for a long time. The only reason Destiny 1 I didn't bounce, I would bounce off Destiny 1 today. The only reason I didn't was it was so unique and different, But like Diablo the ARPG scene is pretty dense with content. Like there's what is it? Path of Exile is huge. Absolutely huge on PC and consoles. I think it's on console. But like to see a games as a service game actually launch in what is almost excellent, almost perfect shape. It's just awesome. And the controller support. The controller support is awesome. Diablo 3 didn't ever even have constant controller support on PC, and on consoles it was okay. It was fine. But like this game feels great to play with a controller.
Yeah, I was gonna ask about that too, because typically this is a PC title. I know Immortal did all right, but yeah, this one transitions pretty well to console. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, and it's like I said, I've been playing full crossplay with my PC friends, which is awesome. Because like normally I would be playing Diablo on PC. It's one of the few genres where I actually like mouse and keyboard a lot more. I genuinely don't like mouse and keyboard to play games, but like this genre, yeah. But like I couldn't say no to the $30 deal, so I whatever. And I'm playing on controller, and I'm like, man, this actually feels really good to play on controller. And one thing, my wrist would often really hurt after playing Diablo 3 for long sessions, because I'd play very long sessions because I was playing the seasonal ladder competitively. And I don't have the wrist hurt pain for playing on controller that I would have on PC, so that's really good personally.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Right. That would be another thing to watch out for.
PC players, be warned. There are a few technical issues. It's not like Fallen Order or anything. The game does have some weird memory leaks that seem to be exacerbated by the HD texture pack for PC. And my friends have had some issues on PC where they've needed to restart their game after, maybe 2-3 hours. Just be warned about that. That'll almost certainly be fixed very quickly. But it is not a bad PC port or PC version by any stretch of the means. But it is much smoother on console.
All right. Glad to hear. Yeah, that's what somebody in the chat was saying too. Yeah. Much better gameplay on Series X.
Yep. And I think you can play mouse and keyboard on console. I think it supports mouse and keyboard. I haven't tested it. I probably should, but I think
it would make sense in a game like this that's not PvP.
I mean, there is PvP.
So there's PvP
trophies. There's PvP achievements in it.
Well, I meant like where you're not like
you don't have to aim. It's just it's more activating the ability.
Where it's not like a real disadvantage or something like
Yeah.
that. But
I mean, listen, Microsoft gave Halo fucking mouse and keyboard support on
that's true.
console. So to be fair, controllers are better in Halo Infinite than mouse and keyboard is because of the aim assist that they've designed. But Blizzard has supported mouse and keyboard on console for Overwatch, so I'm pretty sure that they'll support it for Diablo 4. I'll look that up real quick.
All right.
But,
All right.
yeah, that's all I got.
Now, curious about other people's thoughts on the panel. Centurion Buddy, I know you have not been playing it, but is Diablo a title that like something you wanted to check out? I know you were kind of talking about it earlier on. Is Diablo 4 something that catches your eye, or are you just kind of like bogged down in other games at the moment? Yeah. What's your thoughts?
Well, the backlog situation over here is always a drowning situation. There is always something to play over here. It just comes down to a game, causing me to squirrel shiny object, be like, oh my God, that looks so great. And I'm going to be honest, it's good to see the community is having their fun with this game. I just feel like I get my itch scratched for this style of a game with Elder Scrolls Online, and it's been something I've been playing for years. I've had friends try to get me to play Diablo 2. I have played a little bit of Diablo 2. I have Diablo 3 in my backlog as well because I have those other two games in my backlog, and I just have this game has at this point, I'm pretty sure I will end up with Diablo 4 eventually one day, but I know I'm not going to pay full price for it because I'm not going to be able to put the amount of time in it that all the enthusiasts are. Or it's just like, I mean, I'm not saying that it doesn't interest me. I'm just saying that it's not something I need to drop when I'm playing now to play. And that's where I am on with Diablo 4. I mean, there's a lot of people excited for it just for whatever reason. Don't ask me why, but Diablo, the game series as it is, never sucked me in. And maybe that's just because I tried playing Diablo 2 first and like I'm used to today's graphics. I don't know. But hey, it is what it is, just really sadly that, I wish I would have gotten into it sooner, but I will definitely say I'm not the hugest connoisseur of overhead style games like this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I'd be right there with you, Centurion. Honestly, yeah, like they're not my specialty per se, but I dabble in them every now and then, and I have a good time when I'm playing a really good one.
Right.
So that's why I'm curious about this. So
well, at least to kind of just show, I have a good friend. You guys have met him. He's like a brother to me. He lives here in Phoenix with me. This dude literally played both Diablo 2 and Diablo 3 multiple times, multiple playthroughs, multiple characters. He is right now lost to me. I don't know where the hell he's at because I know Diablo 4 came out. He might be listening to this show. And the funny part is he knows because I mean, he has been foaming at the mouth, ready for this game to come out. And I just remembered when Diablo Immortal released, I was like, dude, I'd be a little concerned about like what level microtransactions are going to be in Diablo 4. And at least it's just cosmetic.
Yep, that was a huge concern. Huge concern with like my friends who are Diablo fans. Huge concern.
Oh yeah, and like because I mean, like I know other people have tried to defend Diablo Immortal, but can you name one other game off the top of your head right now where somebody as a gag developed a PC emulator that was designed like a casino slot machine that used the same payout odds for what are they? The legendary stones?
The legendary gems. Yeah.
The legendary gems. Yeah, dude, I'm going to say I went and actually checked that generator out just to see how bad it was. And dude, it was actually quite hysterical when you're just like, when you're watching the like, holy cow, I've already spent $5,000 and I've only gotten 2 of them.
Yeah, there was big concern with my friends, and that's why I knew if I played the beta, I didn't play the betas on purpose because I knew if I played the betas, I'd want to hop in the game, but I was worried about the MTX, and that's why like I didn't pre-order it because like this is literally like a game designed for Crusader. Like this is my jam, right? I love loot-based games. Like I'm a sucker for them. and we were dreadfully concerned about Immortal. The one ray of hope was the fact that the actual manager for this game is your boy Rod Ferguson.
No, right?
That is like,
but even
the-
then, like, what if I'm right? Gears 4, and he actually did Gears 5 and left after Gears
Yes.
5, right?
yes,
There was still a little bit of a loot box mechanic in the
Sure.
like, because weren't they selling like loot cards or whatever, and they were like
Probably.
linked to boxes, but
In
That
4
was
they
the-
did. 5 they didn't.
See, the thing is, they didn't. From what I remember, they those games still didn't have a pay to win mechanic with them. Correct?
Yeah, not pay to win at all.
Yeah,
that
definitely
was
not
all
pay to
I
win.
was concerned about.
The
see,
loot
I
box
don't
was
care what they
cosmetic.
sell. Really, I
I'm
don't.
not against microtransactions. I mean, like, if anybody knows anything about Elder Scrolls Online, you better be damn
Yeah.
comfortable with microtransactions if you're going to play Elder Scrolls Online. It's when you go beyond something that is like, like you guys say, when you go beyond cosmetics
Or even some
you-
skips. I can be okay with some skips. Like
Skips.
like Battlefield had them since has had skips since Battlefield 3. And I've always looked at skips as, okay, maybe the skip probably almost certainly shouldn't be in the game at the beginning. You put it in 2 years later, and I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. Get players back in the game. Get players.
or like the Assassin's Creed series, like you could buy map markers. You can buy resource packs because I mean, like, sometimes when you're wanting
Yeah.
to craft a damn weapon or a piece of armor, you can go in and buy the crafting resources.
Part of me goes, when you get to that, part of me is like, well, why is the actual economy of the game so bad that's necessitated when you get into that kind of thing?
No, I would say when you start buying resources, you are starting to borderline it.
Yeah.
But I would definitely say, like, Elder Scrolls Online did it. Like, you need to have soul stones to do certain, like, to resurrect yourself in the game. Otherwise, you'll have to go to a shrine to resurrect yourself. And that's where, I mean, if you were lazy and didn't play the game right and didn't have access to soul stones, you could cop out and buy soul stones out of the store. But once you started playing the game properly and you got soul stone, like, I mean, like, I have like thousands of soul stones stored in my bank and I've never had to ever buy them. But there is instances where I know some people are like, dude, I have no soul stones and I can't resurrect. And it's like, well, you got to go in the store and buy them.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a tricky line to straddle. You know what I mean? However, one thing that makes me really excited that we're talking about this is that maybe with Diablo 4, if we get the acquisition to go through, I don't want to talk about that itself tonight, but it would be really cool to start seeing some of these service games like Diablo, and we have some with at Microsoft right now, like Sea of Thieves, ESO, and it would be cool to see more of them have the perks on Game Pass more consistently.
Yes.
Sometimes ESO is there. Sometimes we have. I don't think I've ever seen Sea of Thieves. Sometimes we get Fallout.
No,
76.
Sea of Thieves just recently had the Obsidian pack.
Was it on? Was it on?
It was on the perks.
It was on the perks. Okay, I must have just.
Yeah, I just recently downloaded it. I actually just looked at the receipt for it about.
Okay. They literally just
ago.
added it. They added it literally. Within the last couple days.
So
I did not see that. Okay.
Now here's
I'd
something
like
to really
those
think
things more
about
consistently, and I'd like to see a lot of them, like from Diablo and Halo and Overwatch and Call of Duty. Because that's one thing I got to say about PS Plus. PS Plus always has like a ton of them. I'd love to see more of that with the.
Can I ask one question? Since you said Halo, why is it with Sea of Thieves or other games or even ESO, we can go in the perks, put in the damn code, and we get it? But with Halo Infinite, we got to go on our phone or our PC, log into Halo Waypoint, and then put the code in. I'm like, dude, like, my God, talk about making a big extra step. But at least at.
It's Waypoint. It's because they want to do the shit through Waypoint, but I don't understand why like Waypoint can't be on the back end linked with the Microsoft Store. Like it doesn't make sense.
It works with ESO that way.
Yeah, I know. I don't know
Bethesda
why
account.
343 designed the Waypoint in such a frustrating way.
Agreed.
At least to kind of add off and get to, I know General MLD has to give his thoughts. When it comes to Microsoft, I hope that they do this also with all the Bethesda and the Activision games that have actual currency, because Microsoft actually has a little bit of a policy for microtransactions, that's on, like, a lot of people that are not aware of, that Microsoft prefers that games that have very large in-game stores have implemented in-game currency that is earnable through in-game events and doing certain things. And this is something that ZeniMax with Elder Scrolls Online had to actually implement. After Microsoft bought Bethesda, ZeniMax had to go in and create what they call the Endeavor system, which is where as you do certain things, like take out so many enemies on a certain day, or open this many chests or complete this many dungeons, you actually accumulate Endeavor points. And as soon as you get so many Endeavor points, you can actually go into the store and get items that are actually for sale for real world money, and actually get them with Endeavor points. Now, don't get me wrong, getting these Endeavor points is a massive grind, but it's still giving an avenue of getting these items without actually having to fork out real world money.
Yeah. And Microsoft also has a policy against loot boxes now, post Halo 5.
Yeah.
So that's not a problem in Diablo.
I wonder how that would work with Overwatch. Did Overwatch continue?
Overwatch 2 doesn't have them anymore.
Okay.
Now Microsoft also was clear that they are against paid loot boxes. They don't mind them as a mechanic in the game if the mechanic is completely free and does not, like, you cannot buy them with money, real money, or in-game currency, or paid currency, I should say.
Right. Oh, yeah, like, look at the
Forza's slot wheel machine is a great example. Yep.
Yeah, I mean,
they're perfectly okay
you get
with
those
that.
things handed to you.
Yep. But yeah, Microsoft doesn't do loot boxes, which is good.
Now, again, I'm curious about General MLD's thoughts here. MLD, like, I'm not sure about your history with Diablo. Personally, I know a few of the guys here. They have a long history with the long legacy with the game franchise. Do you have any history with Diablo? And if so, are you looking forward to playing Diablo 4 at all? Is it your style of game? Or are you just going to be like, I might wait later on?
Okay. Yeah, I got some thoughts here. I mean, first, I'm glad it reviewed well. It's a quality release. Think after Diablo Immortal, people had their concerns, so I'm glad Blizzard nailed this game for what it is. Like, it's not often you see a live service game, it's going to get content down the line, but it's not often you see it like launch in a pretty solid state. So that's the first and best thing to know about this game here. Personally, I plan to wait for it on Game Pass. I got some games on my immediate backlog. I'm just getting into Warhammer games now. I just bought Bolt Gun. It's like an old school Doom style game.
Yes.
I'm going to play that soon. I also bought Mechanicus, which is a turn-based kind of Warhammer game. So I'm getting into that rabbit hole. But my history, though, I did play Diablo 3 like 5 years ago, maybe, with a couple of guys. I had a pretty good time with that game, actually. I do notice that people say it's a more colorful style of Diablo. And so, I mean, I am intrigued that this game's going back to its more darker roots. So, yeah, I mean, I wouldn't call myself a mega fan, but I am familiar with the franchise. So I do want to play it eventually, I'd say. Because, I mean, the way I see it, I also know that there's microtransactions. And I feel like if I get on Game Pass, I feel like I can get do a guilty pleasure and just get a cosmetic overhaul and pay X amount of money, and I won't feel guilty because I didn't pay that $70. But that's just me. So it's also nice that Xbox is inheriting these. I mean, they're about to inherit these successful games as a service games, so they can focus on what's really important, which is more single player AAA games. So it's like they're hitting all bases at once here. So as an Xbox fan, I can't complain. So I mean that's where I stand. I mean I'm looking at reviews. I'm seeing gameplay clips online. Like I think whether it's end of the summer or in the fall, whenever the acquisition closes, I'm there. Like I'm gonna look forward to playing this game and sink some time into it. and it looks like a lot of fun. So that's where I stand. I'm just gonna wait for now.
All right, that's fair. That's fair. I mean, I can understand where you're coming from, pal. Yeah, I mean, again, for me, I probably won't be touching it anytime soon, but I'm glad so many others are having a good time with it. Seems like a fun-filled game, and I like the gameplay that I've seen from it. Um, I think we're gonna move on to some other things, but guys, any other closing thoughts on Diablo 4? Like anything else you'd like to say before moving on? Yes, no? All right. All right. But either way, it looks like a pretty cool game. Pretty cool game. Now, guys in the chat, everyone listening in, again, I love that you're here. And if you're enjoying our banter tonight, then please smash that like button and make sure to share out this episode. I want everybody to tune in here, as many people as possible. And hey, sub to the channel if you're a new face here, because hey, I want you to stick around. Be great to have you. But, I think on that we will pivot. I think that'd be a good time now to pivot over to our next topic, which I'm sure quite a few people are excited for. And it is, of course, our predictions for the Xbox Game Showcase next Sunday. There are a bunch of games that are pretty much guaranteed to be there, but there will be some new game reveals, Xbox Game Pass editions, I'm assuming. Plus, again, maybe some surprises. You never know, right? Now, everyone here will be chiming in, but, Centurion, my desert coyote friend, I'm going to start off with you on this one. What's your opinion here? What do you think will be at the Xbox Showcase? Because, again, there's a lot of ideas.
Do we want to cover what Aaron said first?
Yes, please.
So do you mind to just cover what Aaron said this evening?
No, I have it right here in front of me.
You have it right. All right, perfect. Yeah, let's cover that first, because that's definitely news, like real big news.
Yeah, so for those that tuned in for the PlayStation Showcase or the shit show that was, we all know there was a lot of CG and other stuff shown, and Aaron Greenberg decided to come out today and do what he does best and let the fans know that, in his words, none of our first-party games in the show are full CG trailers. Everything is either in-game footage, in-engine footage, or in-game footage with some cinematics. Each of our trailers will be labeled so it is hopefully clear for our fans. And I think even you said, Invader, that they're not even setting themselves to the 12-month window, so that way they're not limiting themselves on what they can show.
Yeah, there's no 12-month window, and there's no movies or TV show trailers.
Oh, damn, I was looking forward to some movies and TV show trailers.
Listen, anyways, we do have the Fallout show. That is actually something.
Dude, that's the funny part. I'm not trying to diss, but I will sit and watch a Fallout television show trailer. No problem. But when you're trying to Gran Turismo, really?
Yeah.
Really? Okay. I mean, I'll say I'll be glued to the screen if you show me God of War, but Gran Turismo. Anyways, moving on.
Such a weird include.
I know. And the fact that they're trying to make it we're going to race cars because we could do it on video games. Right. Okay. Anyways, moving on. So what are we all excited for? I mean, what can they not show? I mean, we've all talked about the different games that have been shown on the, okay. That threw me off. We've all been talking about the different games that have been shown through over the years. I mean, we've talked about State of Decay 3, Perfect Dark, The Outer Worlds 2, Indiana Jones. Obviously, Starfield is getting its own show. Could we see some more about Project Mara? We also are looking forward to Forza Motorsport. I've had some people try to tell me that that game is just going to be delayed again. I really doubt that. Dude, the only thing is so I also know Contraband. Didn't somebody try to come out recently and say the game is going to be delayed, but that's not totally solidified. It was just a leak.
Yeah, internally it's said that it probably isn't hitting its original planned 2023 window, which does line up with some things Jeff Grubb had said a year and a half ago about they had missed a milestone at one point during COVID. So it's not ludicrous to think that that's true.
Right. And you know what, I've always said, I believe any game that has had serious, actual hard development time between 2020 and 2023, there's potentially going to be some still issues there because, in my opinion, that was 2 years of the game industry feeling its way around on what do we do now, and it's going to be hit or miss on a lot of titles. But I mean, we've also, like Invaders always touched on, compulsion games. Oh my God, say that 10 times fast. Compulsion games. I know, at least from what I've heard, they are actually pretty close on releasing a title, or at least getting everybody ready to know what they're working on.
I
It'd be
sure
great.
hope so.
Yeah.
I know,
It's
right?
been a while.
I still need to play We Happy Few, but still, I actually have the physical copy of We Happy Few, and I mean, dude, the game looks absolutely interesting. So I can only imagine what they're. Didn't they have that leak though with Jez Gordon off Windows Central where they showed
Yes.
it was like some kind of like.
They've talked about it actually. They
I wanna
addressed
see-
it.
Project Midnight.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
the code name of the game is Project Midnight, and they did confirm in a post that they are making a third-person dark fantasy game. Action-oriented.
Right.
Mhm.
At least if one thing, since we quoted Aaron Greenberg, this is one reason why I want to also read this quote that I had here from Phil Spencer saying that the Xbox community should demand a lot of us as a team. We've got the resources to do better. And then he went on to say, I'm not going to try to oversell the showcase, but I'm very excited about the showcase. We're going to announce some things people haven't seen with new games and show updates for previously announced Xbox Game Studio titles. That's where he doesn't want to overhype the show or try to sell it at anything that it is. I'm just looking forward to what the show is going to show me. I mean, we saw that potentially because some dude threw glitter around his house, we got a Fable info coming out. I mean, damn, I wish it was that easy for me to create content, filming, throwing glitter around my house. My wife would probably not enjoy it because she'd have to help me clean that up. But
Well, the
Those
problem too is that even Aaron, like, didn't they? There was a picture that he shared the other day, and it was at like
Yeah.
some food court, and half of like there was
It
something
said
in
the
the
word
back.
table.
The
sign was table, right?
Table.
It's the Microsoft.
But
cafeteria.
they knew what they were doing. Like,
I don't know.
Aaron, Aaron has come out and said he has not teased a single thing. Personally, him has not teased a single thing about this showcase.
See, and that's where the whole thing is. Like, I'm not gonna, dude. I've got ADD. I'm gonna take a damn photo, and if by some chance half the word table is in the background, I'm not gonna make that connection until all of a sudden the community is over here trying to make me like, oh, I didn't see that happening. But that also just shows like, and this isn't going towards the major community base. This is going to the Xbox influencers and the media that help try to create these webs of like hype that everybody seems to get caught up in, all because some dude took a photo wrong in front of the word table.
The problem is that Microsoft likes to fucking hide things in plain sight.
yes, they
But
do.
that's
Phil
Phil Spencer.
fucking-
That's not Aaron Greenberg's
No.
MO.
So they've done it with the Game Pass
culture.
Twitter so much, where they have these weird images from Melissa McGame Pass that have like, you have to manipulate the image using like software editing tools, and it has a thing in it that'll tell you like something about the next Game Pass release. They've done it quite a few times. They did it right before the Game Awards one year, and it had every game listed. If you changed the contrast, it had every game listed that was going to be announced for Game Pass at the Game Awards. And they did the thing. Does anyone remember the Death Stranding where they changed the background of the Game Pass Twitter to the hills
Yes.
from Death
Yes.
Stranding, and people went out in game to find it?
Yeah,
That's
I remember.
why people go nuts about Microsoft hiding things, because Microsoft fucking hides things. And so they get this weird like, guys, we're not actually teasing anything here. Like, they have to say it, but they have not said it about that Fable thing yet. They haven't
think
actually
it was
said anything about that.
I think it
all.
was on purpose because just the
I
way
do
that it
too.
was.
The music
know
sounded
what?
just like the first game
If
in the
if
video.
they did decide to do something like that, it is what it is, because we've
Yeah.
seen Ubisoft developers come out and completely. Now, here's the thing. I guess you could have a little bit of fun with it being in marketing, but at least they're not being malicious about it, like we saw with the Ubisoft developers in Splinter Cell. Like, does everybody remember that when the Ubisoft guy was drunk and was tweeting, like he changed his picture to like Sam Fisher's goggles and was like doing all sorts of stuff to screw with the fans, and basically then told you, hey, give it up, it's not going to happen. It was like he was just actually trolling people. I at least could say that whatever Xbox does, at least it comes off as they are not deliberately trying to be malicious and trolling. Maybe they're just trying to have a little bit of fun with it. At least for me, what I'm trying to get at is, like, I love how whenever I read an article or listen to anybody that I like to listen to about Xbox information, I'm supposed to be pissed off as an Xbox fan because supposedly my life has been ruined by Xbox not delivering the way they should have in 2022, or Redfall being at 30 frames a second. I mean, I should have pawned my Xbox months ago from the way some people want to act on social media, but I never did, and I've never felt that way. And that's why I'm not going to continue letting people try to tell me on the internet, Xbox has to show me A, B, C, and D. And they also got to give me the footage from the Kennedy assassination. They got to let me know about aliens on Mars. They got to give me all this hypothetical stuff at the show. Otherwise, I'm going to be pissed off as a fan. And for me, I'm just looking forward to what at least Xbox can deliver to me information wise, because at least my experiences on following developers on social media and some of the blog posts, like what's put on like in the background of some of these studios that actually allow their blogs to be viewed by the public on like what they're working on. A lot of these developers work very damn hard under very, very excruciating situations, especially with executives that are trying to make them meet deadlines and do things that, we obviously don't all agree with. But at the end of the day, I know the developers don't go to work every single day going, I can't wait to make a shit game today. I at least know that they are there because they went to school and they are following their passion and wanting to create games. And I'm just looking forward to at least having, a show to watch, something to chat about, and just something to look forward to when it comes to gaming. I just don't hinge my whole life on first-party studio games because, yeah, there's going to be first-party studio games there, but there's also going to be third-party studio games. One thing that I'm really looking forward to is, are we going to see a shift of a large amount of Activision and Blizzard games? I'm not just talking Call of Duty and Diablo. I'm talking a lot more Activision and Blizzard games being advertised on Xbox shows and stages because another brand decided to go run their mouth and burn some bridges. That's what I'm looking forward to. At least I love to read between the lines of the drama of the game industry. Is I really want to see how many developers are looking forward to working with Xbox because somebody else like Jim Ryan decided to say insulting, disparaging things about their studios and publishers, and they're just like, well, fine, we'll work with Xbox. Their money is just as good.
I wonder if Xbox will have a Call of Duty show up on its stage.
I don't think that's going to happen. Yeah, I was going to say, I don't think that could happen until like what, 2025?
Yeah, there's PlayStation still has the
yeah, they have the contract, but that doesn't mean
it expires next year.
Yeah. It's not happening this year. I'm saying that right now.
It expires next year, but PlayStation could actually have rights through the full of 2024, which means you might not see a Call of Duty game until 2025 appear on an Xbox showcase.
Yeah.
But that doesn't leave out the Tony Hawks or the other stuff that Activision is creating that we're not aware of. This is what I'm looking forward to seeing, is the partnerships that Xbox is going to be able to forge due to PlayStation and Jim Ryan's pretty much like underhanded comments they've made during this whole thing. Like, I know we're all looking forward to that announcement that, Xbox owns Activision. Whether that happens or not, PlayStation severely damaged their working reputation with a lot of developers, especially with screwing with Activision's buyout with Xbox and really screwing off the employees from getting away from Bobby Kotick getting away with billions of dollars. I know they're going to feel a certain way about that, but let's not forget that Jim Ryan undercut EA. EA tried to come in and say, hey, I know you're worried about Call of Duty, but Battlefield can be your next, franchise. And literally Jim Ryan's response was, not even Battlefield can cut the mustard compared to Call of Duty. Nothing like freaking just slap, having somebody extend their hand out to you to say, hey, we can help. And you're just going to slap that hand away and be like, dude, no. And like, I'm just curious now, what does the future look like for PlayStation? Because Jim Ryan went and ran his mouth. Like, we all know that Square Enix is their best friend, but who's really friends with PlayStation at this point?
Everyone making money hat.
That's the only thing. But money. Here's the funny part. Yes, you can money hat, but that's where maybe Xbox might have an easier time money hatting. But also, you never know. Like, yeah, don't get me wrong. PlayStation could offer a EA or somebody else a lot of money, but they could also be like, you know what? We're just fine making $1 million less because we're just going to work with Xbox because you're an asshole.
I just want to add from something you said before. There's already some disingenuous like fans commenting off Aaron Greenberg's tweet, because off the bat, like what he said, he didn't have to say it, but now that he had, he like, what was it? He did the opposite of tempering expectations. Like, knowing that there's no like fully CG trailers is amazing, but now you got people that they're trying. Even that's not good enough for some people. It was so irritating to read more than a few comments. Some people are saying, "Oh, so what does that mean? We're going to see PC only footage? We're not going to see any Series X footage or Series S footage. It's all going to be PC." As if that takes away from all the goodness that we're going to get. Like,
I would like to hear them say that they are going to show mostly console footage, though, just so another Redfall situation doesn't happen.
I'm personally okay with doing Series X specs.
Or at least specifically saying that this is captured on PC.
Yeah.
Well, that's why Aaron Greenberg said it was going to be labeled as such.
Well, no, he didn't say anything about Xbox versus PC things, and that people are asking him to say something about that.
Now,
who knows if they will.
To at least defend General MLD on this whole sentiment, because I really agree with him. I feel like these fans have been cultivated by the gaming media. Like, everybody wants to say that the gaming media is biased, is like a tinfoil hat, mentality. It is not. If you go look at what literally thegamer.com last week, 10 years ago, Xbox nearly destroyed the brand on this day.
Yeah, I saw that.
You could have done a total different article highlighting how the brand has come, this far since 10 years ago, but you'd rather just hammer it home on like, whoa, don't like Xbox because 10 years ago they did this. I could do the same damn thing. Hey, guess what? Back in 2011, the worst gaming leak of people's personal information took place on the PlayStation Network. What the hell do you think is worse? That's why I just laugh. Apparently, because Xbox tried to develop a console that was also an entertainment device, that's evil and demonizing, but PlayStation leaking everybody's personal information all over the internet because of their backwards ass freaking security on the PlayStation Network. Yeah, we don't need to bring that up. You know how it is. Yeah, it's PlayStation. It's okay. That's why I have to stand behind that there is a little bit of biasness from the media, because Xbox hate drives clicks, like click hate. Instead of clickbait, it's called click hate. And literally, we've seen one of the main editors or one of the people that are in charge of IGN, even on their own freaking Twitter feed, actually being disparaging towards Xbox. This is where I really do feel if I could be in charge of Xbox or have Aaron Greenberg's ear or Phil Spencer's ear, I would never answer the phone for IGN. I mean, like, literally, they would get nothing but voicemail every damn time. And anybody that just want to keep, beating the whole thing of the mistakes we've made in the past, I wouldn't even give you the damn time of day.
Now, I have to go around the panel here. MLD, I'm curious on like what you think will be at the showcase, because again, Centurion had a lot of good picks there. But what do you think they'll show off? Like, maybe, some stuff that we should see, some surprises. What do you think will be there?
Okay, I like to think that I have a mostly realistic expectation, but I do have some like personal predictions as well. I mean, obviously Starfield Forza, those are givens. I think the real highlights will be, and I hope all three show up, will be Avowed, Hellblade 2, and Fable. And again, given Aaron's tweet, it's all going to be at least partial gameplay. So I'm really happy about that. I really think all 3 games. I mean, I wouldn't expect Fable before, but we did get that tease with the Fable music and everything. So Fable now, I think, is pretty expected for me, in my opinion. So those are the 3 main ones that we know about, but have not seen like real true gameplay yet. And I think they're all going to blow us away. My personal favorite of the 3, I mean, it's really tough to pick, but I don't know, something about Avowed and Obsidian, like just Unleashed. I think I'm the most hyped about that, but I'm hyped about all 3. I think ZeniMax Online, they're more than due to announce their next game, whatever it may be. I mean, there's a few rumors around. I'm not going to speculate on that, but I think they're due for a new game reveal. The maybes, in my opinion, Double Fine and Compulsion. They're I think due to release to announce a game. I think we'll see some things from Xbox Publishing, maybe some double A, single A kind of games, like niche genres, something like that. I think they'll dedicate a small portion to the more PC centric genre. Like I think we'll see Age of Empires 4 release date and Aura History Untold and Age of Mythology PC release date. So I think we'll just see that too briefly. Then of course, I mean, in an ideal world, all I would want to see is first party games, but that's just not realistic. So I think we're going to see a clip of a bunch of ID at Xbox games. Most or if not all of them will be on Game Pass day one. I think for most of the third party games, they'll show too. Some, but not all. Some will be on Game Pass day one as well. I think we're going to see. I like to see updates on the console version of Warhammer Darktide and Stalker 2. Ideally, I would like to know a release date or even a release window for both those games. I think that will go a long way to make Xbox's holiday that much better. Like Sony has third-party games like Final Fantasy 16, like Xbox should advertise their console time exclusives as well. So I think those would go a long way. The more the predictions I have that probably won't show up, so I won't be upset if they don't show them. Stave Decay 3 and Contraband. I think Contraband's more likely of the two, but I think that might be a little further out. So, but if they show all that, I mean, that's a pretty packed showcase. I mean, but it's like what, 90 minutes for the showcase, 20 for Starfield. I mean, I hope they do it well, but I think it'll be fine. Like, I think they know the formula at this point. They know what fans want. We don't want a bunch of talking. So I think they're going to do back-to-back gaming trailers. I'm sure we'll have Phil Spencer or talk in the beginning, or maybe Sarah Bond will talk somewhere in the middle. But I think they know they can read the crowd now and what we want to see. Like, there's going to do back-to-back trailers, and maybe some devs are talking, but very minimal. And I'm hyped. Like, Aaron Greenberg's tweet just did the exact opposite of tempering expectations. So the hype's at an all-time high right now. The Xbox has had games announced in 2020, and I think it's about time 3 years later that we actually see some stuff. And I think we will.
Mm-hmm. And I'm right there with you. As far as my expectations go, guys, again, it's a given. Obviously, Starfield having a good amount of time dedicated towards it. Forza Motorsport, of course, they have respective showings like the next day or later on in the day. I think there will be something like a little short thing for like the latest Halo Infinite update. I think they'll have a little something for that. I think it's the Infection update because it's coming out later in the month. They had a little something about that today as well. I'm also going to put it out there that I wouldn't be surprised if they gave like new DLC or updates to a Minecraft game like Minecraft Legends, for example. Would not be surprised if we heard like some DLC for it. Maybe even like, again, Elder Scrolls Online. They still got some DLC coming up. Fallout 76. I know that there's still stuff for that. So I'm just saying maybe, you never know. I wouldn't be surprised if there wasn't something Fallout related there. That being said, the Fable teases, I do think that they're a thing. I really hope that they show off some gameplay. There has to be something at this point. I they've been knowingly teasing stuff. I can't see them not show something. That being said, will Avowed get shown if they're showing off like another fantasy game? I don't know. Like, I'm kind of doubting if they're going to show one, maybe not the other. Hellblade 2, I think, is likely. I hope. That's another one I'm very curious about. Either that or Project Mara. I know Project Mara did get like some kind of a trademark a few months back. So maybe we'll see something about that. I know that there was achievements leaked for Hi-Fi Rush DLC. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw a little clip for that as well. I mean, hey, you know what? That game did pretty well for them when it got released. It's still on a lot of Game of the Year contenders already, so I wouldn't be surprised if they touted that. Now, the question becomes, is Contraband going to be there? Is Age of Mythology? I don't know about Age of Mythology. Maybe Aura. It's hard to say. Contraband.
Out already. So I think it has to be there.
Maybe, yeah. Hey, I'm just saying, maybe, or maybe it's not the right place. I don't know, but we shall see. Contraband again, I would like to see, but things have been pretty quiet about that one. Hard to say. I do think that Compulsion's game reveal will be there. I think the timing is right, but then again, I've been saying that for the past like 2-3 years now. And in Exile too. I mean, it's been it's been like what, a year and a half-ish. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw a trailer for their new project.
Oh, more actually. Wasteland 3 was 2020, so it's been a few years actually.
And they have 2 teams, I think, so I'm pretty sure the other game's been in pretty decent development time, so they should have something like some kind of a trailer to show off. What else? Game Pass titles, I think we're going to, of course, I think that's a given. We're going to see, new Game Pass titles for what they plan to release in the next 12 months, from indies to larger titles. Some titles that I hope we get updates on. You talked about MLD Darktide. I really hope they give us that, considering the Warhammer Skulls event. They did not say anything. That said, I mean, we also haven't seen, like, we saw some gameplay for Space Marine 2, but they didn't reveal a release date for that. I'm kind of hoping we see that maybe at this event. I would like to see some more Warhammer 40K partnerships there. I think that would be a fantastic get for them if they did. That would really be a pleasant surprise.
Actually, imagine with Space Marine 2 being Game Pass day one as well. That'd be a huge get.
That'd be awesome.
That would be huge. That would be a great surprise. Honestly, that'd be a great surprise.
Oh, actually, guys, I just thought of it now. What do you guys think of the Marcus Phoenix collection rumors?
So Jez has said that while he doesn't think they were true last year, he thinks that the sheer enthusiasm from last year may have spurred on them entering into a development. And it is a remaster, so it wouldn't have nearly as long a development cycle as something else. So it's a definite possibility. I don't think it comes out this year.
Oh yeah, I'm not saying this year, but I'd say like closer to
Gears
announcement maybe.
Yeah. Gears. It would be really cool to get Gears like 1, 2, 3, and maybe even Judgment. I know people don't like Judgment as much. I thought it was okay. It wasn't great.
Technically, one's already done.
Yeah, it would be nice to have them all in. See, here's the thing. I like the MCC format where they're all in one collection and they're all like, their multiplayers are all like connected, and you can just play
they
it
can
all
do
in
like
one
what they did.
Yeah,
They took Halo 1 was already completely remade, and then they just brought it in.
Yeah, it would be really cool to see something like that for Gears. I wonder how high it would go, because I don't think it would include Gears 4 or 5 specifically because of their enormous file size.
I don't think so.
1 to 3 in Judgment.
Yeah,
is 4 on PC?
What was that?
Probably by now.
Gears 4 on PC?
I think it is.
It at least is through Game Pass.
Not 2 and 3. I don't think so. I think that's the point.
2 and 3 are not. Judgment is not. But okay, 4 is. 4 is not on Steam.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
I know 5 wasn't on Steam at launch either. They brought it when Hivebusters launched.
Yeah, there's a period in there where like Xbox One games didn't quite make it over. Like I know Halo 5 still isn't on PC.
Yeah.
And neither was
that launched
Gears
right
4.
before the stuff. And like Halo Wars 2 is on PC, but it's also not on Steam. That's a game that should be on Steam.
Oh my
Yeah,
god.
that's a missed
That's
opportunity.
a game that should be on Steam. That would actually help its player base a lot. It should be on Steam.
Nod Buggy in the chat. I'm predicting Doritos Crash Course Remastered. Oh man, don't
That
get
would
me
actually be
started.
hype. I mean, it's not that great of a game, but it's like a great game. You know what I mean? Like,
Hey,
it's
hey
no.
now.
It's like functionally, it's not that like incredible of a game,
playable.
but it's so addictingly fun. You know what I mean? Like it's.
You're right.
I would
You're right.
die for that.
You're right. But no, just to like finish off what I was saying though, I do think that they'll give us something else, like something related to like the design lab stuff. They kind of talk about that. And honestly, like there are other games that could possibly be there. Like again, Stalker was mentioned in the chat. I would like to see it. It's just I know that the development has been very rough, all considering. So I'm gonna hold back on that for now. I mean, I would like it to be there. It looks great from what I've seen. It's just it's hard to say right now. But yeah, there's gonna be some surprises there as well, guys. As far as a surprise game goes, you know, I've heard a lot about Killer Instinct maybe making a showing, or you know, there's some other titles.
People see Banjo.
Well, you know
Banjo,
what?
hype, Killer
You know
Instinct,
what?
hype, even though I wouldn't play it.
I'm gonna go, yeah, and I'm gonna go along that line by saying a family friendly game I would like to see there, and that goes along the lines of like again a Banjo game, because they know that we want like again a proper Banjo game, or let's say a Viva Pinata, or you know, just something along those lines, a really solid 3D first party platformer, whether it be from Rare or you know the other you know Xbox IP that they own directly. Like because Phil again, he talked about it years ago about you know needing that, and you know these projects start years in advance, and I think it's time for something like that to pop up now, like whether it's done by Playful or another studio. If I'm going to be surprised, I mean, I got to see like, you know, Banjo running across the screen or something, or a jiggy piece that teases something, right? So that's something that I would really love to see there. But hey, who knows on that? Shockley, buddy, I mean, I'm curious about what you think could be at the showcase. I mean, obviously, there are a lot of obvious ones that we know are going to be, but hey, you know, again, we could have some surprises like we're all hinting at. I don't know. How do you think that this is going to go?
Yeah, I mean, I think you've touched on like a lot of the ones I was thinking about was Killer Instinct for sure, since it's been so long. And there's rumors that have kind of resurfaced with Bandai, you know, possibly being developer, which that's probably why they haven't announced anything, or you haven't heard anything from it since then. Was, you know, they basically lost one of their key developers, and then I forget what happened to the second one, why that wasn't going to work out. But yeah, I'm definitely hopeful to see more of the studios that they acquired in 2018 surface, like Compulsion, State of Decay, ones that they've kind of already shown teasers for. I think they need to show at least something in engine. Like when we saw State of Decay 3, it was like, oh, cool. Maybe they're, you know, is that cutscene? Is it kind of like a Diablo cutscene where it's like, ooh, look at this high res cutscene, but the cutscene is nowhere comparison to what the game will look like. So that's why I was kind of iffy when I first saw that trailer. It was like, I hope that's not just a tease. I hope they're going for that fidelity. Just because Xbox had been kind of lacking that. Not so much. Obviously, they had Halo and Gears that looked stellar, especially like Gears 5. So they, you know, you look at the faces on there, you can see the pores on the, like, that's, you know, PlayStation like esque level studio stuff as far as like the high graphic fidelity that you can see on their face. But yeah, I'm hopeful that we'll see some of those reemerge. I'm for sure we'll see Hellblade, so that's definitely one of the studios there. And then yeah, I'm trying to think the ones that they've kind of teased since there. Yeah, definitely Contraband was another one that we had no idea really. They kind of hinted like the decade. I think it's 70s when they were playing. I forget the band. I know the song, but I forget
Steely
the band.
Dan.
Steely Dan. Yeah. So I know the kind of setting they're going for, and I guess it's kind of like a mercenary. I don't know, something you can play like with other people. From what we've heard of it. So it'd be cool to actually see something of that. So I mean, they definitely have so many titles they need to touch base on that they've teased before. So hopefully, if they hit all of those, that would be awesome. Maybe not likely, but also Perfect Dark. I definitely want to see something. I think that's the one that hasn't been mentioned too much. That I think they will show at least some type of glimpse, because they already showed us like the teaser at the Game Awards, and then they, so it seemed like they're ready of like, hey, here's our vision. We already have this scope, and hey, we're kind of making a cinematic to like kind of see like what this new world's going to look like. But they've already, had the ball rolling probably for a little bit now for Crystal Dynamics helping them. So hopefully they have like something they could show, because I think that could definitely, what Microsoft would also be a big one for them is to temper the concern that some people just have all over Twitter. Obviously, Twitter is just kind of this small slice, but sometimes the echoing that comes from it can be pretty loud. So it would definitely be cool to show that and be like, oh, cool. It's totally, it's not like normal how they are establishing that studio. But the way they're going about it, hey, it's working, and hey, okay, this looks really cool. Maybe, just to build some more of that trust since Redfall release. So, because we kind of had that like, hey, it's Arcane, so Arcane doesn't miss, as everybody would always say. And then we're like, and we kept seeing like some things that were kind of iffy. We're like, well, it's got to be an awesome game, right? And then just no, as far as like, what we got quality wise for their first like $70 game. So yeah, definitely hoping Killer Instinct, Perfect Dark, hopefully those would be something, or those would be things that they could definitely surprise that probably won't be expected to be shown. And then obviously hit it out of the park with Hellblade, because I know fidelity wise that thing was probably one of the most impressive things we've seen since it was showing that early Unreal Engine 5 footage that they said was gameplay. So hopefully they can show more of that that looks that ridiculously good. But yeah, outside of that, I definitely want them to bring back one of those other rare IPs, whether it be, like you were mentioned before, whether it be Banjo or a Conquer. People lose. Well, actually, either one. Banjo, if it's a true like Banjo game, or like a Conquer, people would lose their shit. So they could definitely steal a lot of the the whole week people talking about. Again, they have so many IPs now. They have Bethesda. They have so much under their plate that they can release, or at least show or announce. They could. So I guess he mentioned there's not going to be any teasers, so maybe not a Conquer or Banjo unless they've had one secretly under development. But yeah, hopefully we'll see at least something resurface from Fable. I think that's one thing that Microsoft does need to work on, is if whether or not you're teasing Fable, like you kind of have to be aware what you're putting out and why you're putting something out. And hey, does this resemble any of our other games that people anticipate us probably showing? So otherwise, right now, and they can read all over Twitter, people are talking about that's a Fable. It's all in their comments, and Aaron Greenberg comments to those. So if anything, he should shut those down. Say, hey, just to let you guys know, Fable's not going to be here. So yeah, then that means it's better be there. Or yeah, you better at least show an engine at least, like he was saying.
Either it had better be there, or the show had better be so fire that it doesn't fucking matter if it's not there or not. You know what I mean? Like, they have enough content that they could just have a show that's so fucking fire that it doesn't matter.
And you shouldn't tease that. Like, that's the only thing I've seen him really tease like that. If it's not going to be, if we're not actually going to see some gameplay, like, just, we already kind of had a teaser trailer, and just the next of like, hey, here's an engine trailer. I'm like, and that's the thing you're leading to tease. You might as well be teasing Hellblade 2 or something that's going to be probably further along, or probably like Avowed.
Well,
So,
that's the problem, is that oh, not to interrupt,
they're
but
getting to understand how, like, you don't need to temper expectation. You just need to set the right expectation. Don't like make us think like, ooh, they're going to show off Fable because that's the only game you're teasing. It seems like they kind of have to understand what they're doing with that. So hopefully they do, and hopefully that's going to be shown. But otherwise, then you're going to get people pissed for no reason when you didn't need to tease that to begin with, and it could have been a fire show, and you like pissed people off. So, but hopefully, yeah, like you said, it's going to be hopefully a fire show, and they have so many things that they can touch base on that we haven't heard from, that they've teased 3-4 years ago that we haven't seen yet. So,
yeah, and that's the thing, right? Because that's what I want to see is. I'm really happy that Aaron Greenberg did bring this up just like an hour or so ago, that we will see games like, again, releasing within the year, and they will have gameplay. And that's what I want to see, because again, we've seen a lot of CGI over the past couple of years and been waiting on these projects. And I understand it takes time to deliver them, but need to see some gameplay now for the games that were announced in like 2020. So, you know, I'm happy to hear that we're going to be seeing some stuff that way. But also, I want to see games that, again, are complete, and I want to have assurances that, again, these games are going to be, you know, in proper forms, not like rushed or anything like this. Because that's been, you know, and unfortunately, that's been you know, the thing within like the past year, is that games are becoming coming out unfinished. Please, you know, I hope that they've had enough time to polish them as well. That's the thing. No rushing. But hey, I just show me that these games are alive, doing well, and show me gameplay, please. Crusader, I know you.
Kojima will have anything teased.
I don't think it'll be there.
I still think.
I mean, just like for in-engine, you know what he did with Death Stranding when he had all those different like.
Yeah.
Remember the first trailer when he announced, and then it had him holding the baby on the beach, like.
Norman Reedus,
just some cryptic shit. People would say, "Oh, yeah, this is sick."
Personally, I'm gonna say no, just because their announcement, it was still like so early. Like,
yeah, it was purely verbal.
I also think the next time you see that is Game Awards.
True.
Yeah, he's very good friends with Keegers.
Oh, the Keeleys. Yeah,
because Keeley's going to hype it up too as he's like announcing
it. If that would be a very smooth move from Microsoft, right? There are people who think that they don't like each other. I'm like, listen, he hosts it at the Microsoft Theater every year. Like,
hey, if your game's not going to be up for running for Game of the Year, at least you have Kojima. Showing his first glimpse of his new IP.
Like, and you know, like Kojima and Keeley are such good friends. You know that like they would both love to do that together. And Microsoft just kind of gets that synergistic, like Kojima and Keeley showing off something together kind of thing at the Game Awards. I think that's the next time you see that game, is at a Game Awards or Summer Game Fest.
Yeah, it's a good idea.
Now, Crusader, I know you've been holding back a bit. What do you think, my friend, is going to be showing off here at the Xbox Showcase next Sunday?
All right, we're going to do this like fast because there's a lot to say. Starfield, I'm not including it at the showcase because it's its own 30-minute event, period. So anything I'm speculating is in the 90 minutes, right? Forza Motorsport is guaranteed to be in there. That's the only game we've been told. I believe that Hellblade and Avowed are basically shoo-ins because Phil Spencer mentioned them by name on that Apology Tour podcast. he mentioned them a couple times on that podcast as being like some of the closer games and like having seen like awesome builds of them and stuff. So I think that you see those. I was gonna say Necrom. I don't know that Necrom will be there or not because they just released their quote last trailer before launch. Did they not, Centurion? I'm pretty sure they just released what they called the last trailer. I thought I saw that in a tweet.
See, that's where I'm on the fence.
Yeah, I would have said yes.
Well, that's where I'm on the fence because technically, like they've done with Elder Scrolls over the past few years, is they're releasing Necrom on the PC, I believe on like the 5th or the 6th.
Yeah.
But the console update doesn't take place till like the 20th. So they could potentially have some short little, hey, Necrom is out on PC now. And mention it. I don't see them having this great big in-depth freaking thing, but I do think that they could mention it.
Yep. That would probably be the whole, what's his name? Uncle Pete, right? Uncle Pete could like mention it in passing with like an image up behind him. You know what I mean? Right. I would have said yes, but they released the title is called The Final Gameplay Trailer.
But to at least go back to what I'm sorry, I'm trying to interrupt, but what General MLD said about ZeniMax showing another game, if they could do that, and that's where you never know, it could be a shoe-in or a tie-in with, like, hey, ZeniMax's game ESO has this next update, but now they have this new game that they're working on. Because we all know that they bought that ZeniMax Bethesda bought out that Budapest developer and made them a support studio for ZeniMax's new online development and whatever that is. So they have ramped up hiring for production of a game over at ZeniMax.
I'm also curious to see because I've been on the line of like that's literally the case by case game at ZeniMax where that could be multi-platform because it's an MMO.
No, I agree with that. I think it's only reasonable for that.
If you told me it was exclusive, I'd believe you. If you told me that they were going to put it on everything, I'd also believe you, and that's where my opinion lies. And that's where I'm kind of like, could that show up at Summer Game Fest instead, or could that show up at some, at Gamescom instead or something? You know what I mean? So I'm just like, that's where I'm like, I don't know about ZeniMax Online Studios. Halo 4, Halo Infinite Season 4. I originally would have told you it was going to be at this showcase, but they just showed a ton of stuff from that today at the championship. So, I don't know. Sea of Thieves Season 10 will be there. I guarantee it. Sea of Thieves is like their most popular live service game besides Minecraft. It will almost certainly be there. In fact, I would wager to guess that they'll have something cool in it this year to rival the Pirates of the Caribbean. Remember that? That was hype. That was like, I remember that trailer. I was like, oh, it's Sea of Thieves. And then they showed Captain Jack Sparrow. I'm like, okay, this is fucking awesome. Minecraft, I bet that Minecraft has something there. Minecraft is their biggest IP and is kind of even still will be tied for their biggest IP, even when they own Call of Duty. Yeah, almost certain it'll be there. Fallout 76? Yeah, I think Fallout 76 will be there. Microsoft usually shows between 12 and 15 internal or like first party, including external publishing, first party titles, including their live service updates. That's been true for the last like 3 or 4 years. So I do expect, other than what I just mentioned, somewhere between like 4 and 7 other games to show up. Other safe bets that I didn't include there that people had to remind me of, probably Age of Empires 4 on console, and probably Aura History Untold. I'm very excited for Aura. And Fable, I wouldn't have guessed Fable, but the music and the glitter trail that Stein did through his house, yeah, you have me kind of convinced it'll be there. I think that we are finally going to see, what is it? What is the code name? Project...
Belfry?
Fuck. What'd you say?
Belfry?
Yes, Project Belfry, which is called, the actual title of the game is called The Wandering Tower. Jez had to actually inform me that he released the name of it a while back. I didn't know that. The Wandering Tower will most likely show up. I remember he and Jeff Grubb were both kind of shocked it wasn't shown last year. And luckily, one thing we didn't mention that Aaron confirmed this evening is there is no stupid 12-month window. There's no way they can set poor expectations for, things happening, at least in that regard. Maybe they'll do something even wilder during the show, where they say that like we're gonna have something every quarter for the next 6 quarters, which I would be like, oh, okay, I hope you do it. But there's no 12-month window, so they can actually show things further out. So they were shocked that Belfry wasn't shown then, because from what I understand, they had both seen it and were shocked that it didn't show up there. So Project Belfry, I would assume is probably a good bet. I don't think we will see Everwild. I don't think we will see anything from Arcane. I don't think we will see Kojima's game. I definitely don't think, and with 100% certainty, I do not think we see Elder Scrolls 6. I do not think we see Age of Mythology retold. I think that will be a next year thing, because they typically announce the Age of games like with a image and then actually show them off 2 years later. That has been a trend that they've been doing for a while now with their updates and stuff. So I don't think we see that. I'm doubtful on Project Tatanka showing up, because we had the reports that they switched like all that shit to Unreal Engine 4 and no idea what's going on with any of that stuff. I'm looking through my list. 343. I don't think unless we see something from Halo Infinite, I don't think we see anything from 343. The Coalition, maybe we see Gears Collection. Maybe we see a teaser for Gears 6. I wouldn't be shocked if we saw a teaser for Gears 6, because they can easily do that in Engine, because Unreal Engine can make cinematics that look like God's gift to man. Compulsion, maybe we see Project Midnight. Double Fine, I still think it's a little early to see anything from Double Fine, just because they just released in 2021 Banjo-Kazooie. Don't know exactly what the scope is and how their studio is working. I know they have 2 IPs at the studio at least.
Oh, you mean Psychonauts?
Yeah, what did I say?
Banjo.
I apologize. Psychonauts, yes.
For a second, I was gonna be like, did I miss something?
No. They released Psychonauts in 2021. That's my apologies. Maybe there was that weird thing from Xbox ANZ with like the whole Psycho and then 3 X's in the boxes. That was weird. But I don't really trust the regional Xbox accounts to do anything, because they're always wrong about something. So I read into that. None. The Initiative, I personally don't expect Perfect Dark to be there. It would be really cool to see it there. I don't expect it. I think that it and Everwild are games that they could hold back safely.
Right.
Mojang, Jez had previously leaked that there were 2 spin-off games coming out, and one of them was revealed to be Minecraft Legends. We don't know what that other spin-off is, and that was like from 2 years ago, so maybe we see that, or maybe it doesn't exist anymore. Hellblade 2, yeah. Obsidian Avowed, yeah. Playground, Fable, yeah. I think so. Wouldn't have before. Turn 10. Undead Lab, State of Decay 3. What do we think about that, people?
No, I still think it's far off.
I have no idea.
We're lucky
So
if we
if
get
you
it.
guys are saying no, that's fine. Contraband, I don't personally think so. I think that after the scare with Redfall and a lot of scares with some co-op games on the market, they may be taking their time with doing anything with Contraband to make sure it is kind of just right. You know what I mean? I'm on the fence of, even if Mr. Colt Eastwood's rumor that it was internally delayed is wrong, that I still don't think we see it this year, because I think they're going to be looking at that game and they're going to be trying to play it as safe as possible with a 1 to 4 player co-op game. It's my opinion. Project Suerte from Certain Infinity, that was rumored by both Jez and Jeff.
Oh yeah.
It is a Monster Hunter like game, which evidently I didn't even link about what it was on my list of stuff. Yeah, rumored Monster Hunter like game from Certain Infinity. Don't know if it could show up or not. Project Vonnegut, we don't even know what it is at all. The 1 versus 100 revival that was previously rumored is most likely dead, because AltSpace VR under Microsoft no longer exists, because Microsoft closed down its VR division.
Right.
Project Chinook, Jez has heard the project name, doesn't know what it is. Believes it's global publishing. Project Dragon's probably not with Xbox anymore. Project Dei is no longer with Xbox and is formally announced. I don't think Tango shows up. Roundhouse Games. How are we thinking about Roundhouse actually showing up? We don't know what we know. They were supporting Redfall, but we don't know what their actual in-house title is. We know they have one.
Hard to say, but I mean, again, there was a trademark not too long ago from ZeniMax with
Yes.
Super Monster News,
Which, by the way, was trademarked like 6 years ago.
Oh, was it?
They renewed it.
What about the Spy game?
Spy game is supposedly under Bethesda Game Studios and has been put on the back seat.
Okay.
From what I have heard about it. It was supposedly at, I believe, Bethesda Game Studios Dallas. Don't quote me on that. I thought I heard it was at Dallas, maybe Austin. I've heard it's been put on the back seat in everyone's all hands on deck for Starfield.
Good.
Machine Games with Indiana Jones. How we feel about Indiana Jones?
I mean, it's possible we could see something, especially with the movie.
That was my favorite
releasing.
thoughts of it too.
That
I've actually
being
been on the side of Indiana Jones could be at Summer Game Fest.
Or QuakeCon.
possible.
Yeah, it could be at QuakeCon too, because Machine Games is big with stuff at QuakeCon. I think because we don't know what's up with the Indiana Jones game. We don't know what commitments were made to Disney. We don't know if when Bethesda negotiated the contract with Disney that there were platform expectations or things like that. We don't know. So there's if Indiana Jones was to be a multi-platform game, because we don't know, and that is a possibility. I do think that that's a game that could easily be sent to a different showcase. You know what I mean? Even if it was ready for this one, I think it could be sent to a different one. id Software, I believe they are ready to show something. I think they'll save it for QuakeCon.
That would make sense because, yeah, again, you have to take into account these different events, right? These different shows and showcases, like you're saying, QuakeCon, Gamescom, and other things, right? During the summer, like the Summer Games Fest, they can spread out some things, right, and just kind of put a little here, a little there, and whatnot. So they don't have to show everything just at one giant show, which is good.
Yeah. Then there was Project Velvet. We don't actually know what Project Velvet is. I've heard that it might be another game at Compulsion that's in like pre-prod. Project Kalimbo. I have been able to find nothing about Kalimbo other than it was listed in the GeForce Now leak. Jez was not able to find out anything about it either. When I was talking to him about it.
What about Brass Lions game?
Brass Lions game could show up. I think that's a good shot. For anyone who doesn't know, that's Project Shaolin. Which is the game that is supposedly is having music done by the Wu-Tang Clan.
Oh, that one.
Yes. No idea what state of development that game's in. That's really hard to gauge anything with because they're a brand new studio that doesn't have a former development cycle that we can follow, and is global publishing. So hard to know anything about. We've literally not heard anything about that since it was first outlined by Jez and Jeff. There is a Project Wormwood that was rumored by, I believe it was Mr. Special Nick. However, when I hear an actual project name, I actually give credence to the rumor more than anything. So I gave him this one. Nick's track record is good. It's okay. He gets some stuff right. He gets some stuff wrong. He basically will say anything that he hears through the grapevine, whether he is given his whether the sources are vetted or not. And I do kind of respect that. But Project Wormwood is supposedly a strategy game from Bethesda Softworks. That is we don't know who it's with. It might even be global publishing via ZeniMax Global Publishing and not the traditional Xbox. But it's supposedly a strategy game that is based on a Bethesda Softworks IP.
Really? That's interesting.
I've always thought that Fallout would make a good strategy series, kind of like Gears did. How Gears had Gears Tactics? Was that what it's called?
Well, that's how Fallout started out.
Yeah. So Fallout started out as a CRPG, and it's a slightly different. It's the same concept, turn-based. But yeah, that it's supposed to be more of an actual. I've heard everything from turn-based strategy to real-time strategy for it, but it's a strategy game of some kind. Other than that, I think that's all I got. That's all I got on my list that I'm willing to bring up for this.
Yeah, I'll just again, guys, it's going to be very there's all these games that we know that are in development or that they've shown up but that we haven't seen gameplay for. So it's going to be interesting what they're going to be showing off for this one, right?
Yep, it'll be very interesting to see what they pick. There's plenty of stuff that probably coming out in the next 2 years that they could show and show reasonably well.
You know what? I'll say another thing. Another wild card, and that will be High on Life DLC.
Yeah.
That'd be nice.
Also, did every guys see the achievements that showed up for Hi-Fi Rush?
Yeah, I mentioned
Yeah. 10
yeah.
achievements showed up in the Steam database for Hi-Fi Rush, so there's a good chance that we see that. One last thing. Do we think that they will do a shadow drop again?
I
It's
don't
not going to be a AAA game. Tell you that.
Yeah, it's gotta be small.
We're 3 years before they can do that.
unless it's that super monster news, because I don't know if that's like I don't know. It doesn't sound like I don't know if I take that game very seriously. I'm not sure what that could be.
See, I've been of the opinion that they could shadow drop. You know how like there's rumors that they have collections of stuff because like uh Phil said the term collections like very strangely in the interview with Kind of Funny.
Oh yeah.
And there was rumors, that kind of rekindled the Gears collection. There was also rumors of a Fable collection
Yes.
a while back.
Yes.
And I've been of the opinion that there are two things that Microsoft could currently shadow drop, right? And that is that they could shadow drop AA games like an Ori style game. Hi-Fi Rush is the perfect example because they did it. And they could shadow drop collections of remastered games.
That they could, and it's been a while since we've had a Fable game.
Yeah, and so my thought process with this whole Fable thing is that we're going to see very little of we're going to see an update on the new Fable, right? We'll see a little bit. We're probably not going to see something incredible, but we'll see. They'll show a little bit of in development gameplay. They'll show something in engine. You know what I mean? And then they'll end it off with, but today you can play the original 3 remastered. That's my like crackpot theory of the whole Fable thing. That's not no insider information there. That's my crackpot. Well, I think Fable's a little far off for them to actually show something reasonably. So they're going to show something to make fans a little bit excited and then be like, "Yeah, Fable 2 is finally on PC, you idiots." And like the Fable 1, 2 and 3 remastered for current Xboxes, so you don't have to use the emulator. They're far more optimized with upgraded assets, things like that. You know what I mean? Like something like that. That's been my opinion. I've tempered myself for Fable to think that like, yeah, okay, Fable's probably not something that they're going to be able to show a ton of, even if it's there. So how can they capitalize on showing something and building hype? And it would be, just do a Fable collection.
No, and I think that's fair. I mean, overall, I think that we covered the showcase pretty well, guys. I mean, obviously, we don't know what's going to be shown, but Crusader, I think you had a pretty good list there. Shockley gave some good words. MLD, Centurion went over some stuff as well. Overall, I think that we have some pretty good expectations, and as much as we have expectations, at the same time, I'm really curious what the surprises are going to be. So we'll just have to wait and see, obviously, but not too far off, guys. Less than a week now. Less than a week. Time's a ticking. Guys, I think we've said all we've had to for this topic, but any last words before we move to the outros? Yes, no? Okay, guys, I think that about does things for this episode. Another really fun chat between the guys from Diablo 4 to, of course, our predictions for the Xbox Game Showcase. We'll see if any of our guesses come to fruition. And again, like a short period of time, just a week away. We shall see. To everyone that's showing up in the chat, all the listeners and viewers, a huge shout out to everyone that joined us. We really appreciate having you here, as always. And if you enjoyed the banter tonight, then please consider leaving a like, subbing to the channel, and of course, sharing out this episode. Now it's about time to close things off with the outros, of course, and let's start off with Crusader. Pal, hey, loved your thoughts on Diablo and, of course, the speculation for the Xbox show. Where can everybody find you?
Yeah, you can find me at Crusader3456 on Twitter and all the social medias, and on Xbox and on PlayStation and on Steam. Yeah, and for anyone who is concerned, because I am the gaming leaks and rumors guy, don't worry. On my actual Twitter feed, I do not plan to actually post any leaks on my feed, either as a direct post or as a comment. I may post that, oh crap, some leaks have dropped, and I will talk about them with people in DMs, but I will not be posting anything on my feed, so you do not have to worry about that for this week. I want people who want to stay surprised to be surprised.
Yeah, no, and that's very courteous of you to do, obviously.
So what
I mean,
you're saying is it's safe for me to unmute you.
Yes. No, actually, that's probably a terrible idea. But
it's all good, Centurion Crusader. No, it's all good. But yeah, no, I look forward to what you're going to be posting. It's going to be a very busy week for you, Crusader.
very busy.
Next up, Eric Shockley, buddy. Hey, great commentary as per usual tonight. Loved your Diablo feedback. Where can all these fine people follow you at?
Yeah, as always, you can find me at ShockNero on Twitter, EasyShock on Xbox Live. But one last thing I'll say, I definitely want them to still show off whatever it's third party, whatever, more Japanese titles, because they still need to hone that. Make sure, hey, we're getting the next. You've made these steps. Don't make it be like a Final Fantasy where it's like, hey, we're bringing all the Final Fantasies. Oh, but no more Final Fantasy. So I'm hopeful we'll see. Maybe they could show off a premiere of Dragon Quest. What was it? 12 now, or whatever the next big, which they've done with Scarlet Nexus, and they've done that in the past. So hopefully they continue that on.
I've heard of one that actually might be at this showcase. I'm not gonna say it because I don't want to spoil anything for chat. We can talk about it after the show, though.
Oh, all right. Stick around then, Shock, for a few extra minutes. Moving on here, General MLD, buddy. Hey, I loved your speculation when it came to the showcase. Very similar thoughts. Where can all these fine people find you?
All right, thank you. You guys can find me at MLD Ghost on Twitter, and my gamer tag is Ghost MLD. So, this week's gonna fly by. I'm just gonna not go on Twitter at all Sunday and until after the showcase is done. It's going to be great. I'm excited.
Me too. I'm going to be working during that, and it's going to be interesting, man. It's going to be very interesting trying to catch up with all that afterwards. Who else do we got here? Centurion. Hey, I thought you had some really well thought out responses too. Loved your feedback on everything. Where can everybody find you?
For those interested in finding me, you could find me at Centurion1307, Xbox Live, Twitter, and of course, YouTube. Just released 2 recent videos there. Also, you could find me on Gaming Beyond the Box 2 hours before the start of this show with Wilmy Hood and the amazing guys over there. And you can also find me on TXR right here after Gaming Beyond the Box with this amazing group of gentlemen as well.
All right. Well said. Well said. And of course, you guys can find my content on YouTube at Invader Gaming. Also, check me out on Rumble under the same name, Invader 1986 or Invader Gaming. I had a fantastic time with the boys tonight, and I hope you all did as well. We're already very antsy in anticipation for all the announcements next Sunday. We hope to see you all there. Again, we'll be giving away an Xbox Series S, so get right on that, guys. Save the date, save the time. It's going to be a great time and a great show. Good night, everyone. See ya.